Just when you thought Gail's exit was all wrong, Coronation Street has gone ahead and made it all the more better. Coronation Street has announced, well, not necessarily Coronation Street, but an insider has announced that there will be a ghostly return for Richard Hillman. Now, if you don't know who Richard Hillman is, he is arguably, definitely Coronation Street's most prolific killer. And alternatively, probably Soap's greatest killer. He killed Maxine. He killed Maxine. Who else did he kill? He killed his ex-wife, and he killed Dougie Ferguson. And was the original. He was a somewhat nuanced character. Coming into Gail's family, coming to the Platts, Gail, not really the best time with men in general. Comes into that family, and he's what she's always wanted. He suits up. He's a smart man. He's got money. He's successful. It's all together, but slowly you see the cracks form. You see his ex-wife show up, and suddenly you're like, oh, bloody hell. Yeah, I'll tell everybody who you really are, Richard. Shovel to the brain. And then continues with Dougie Ferguson or Maxine, either or. The famous line, "You should have stayed at the party, Maxine." Trying to kill Audrey, trying to kill, I believe, Emily Bishop. And obviously the famous scene, of course, of the end is "This is it. I love you," as he's bracing into the fucking canal. You and me together. I don't know, just you and me. Iconic, fantastic. Never seen Richard Hillman? Watch the compilation on YouTube. There should be a playlist of all the Richard Hillman stuff. That's where I watched it. That's what helped me get into Coronation Street as a whole. It's fantastic, and he truly is, in my opinion, the best soap villain of all time. He was there for 2 years, became prolific, and this was obviously Corrie on a downwards turn, but still at a high peak. 15.3 million viewers watched the first installment of Coronation Street, with 15.6 million watching Richard's murder of long-standing character Maxine Peacock. 2 episodes caused a power surge. The double bill broadcast, 24th of February 2003, in which Richard revealed all to Gail, attracted an average of 17.2 million viewers for the first installment and 17.6 million in the second installment, and it peaked at 19.4 million. And finally, 19.4 million when he drove the Platt family into the canal. And genuinely, he is a truly fantastic villain. And, Soap Study is of this point that Richard Hillman, Soap Study YouTube channel, go check it out, is of the opinion that Richard Hillman changed the trajectory of villains in soaps. Made them a lot more nuanced, a lot more, it's like they stand out a lot more. Characters that weren't just like, I have stamped on a child on a video game. I've stamped on a child and I've laughed. Like very nuanced, interesting, multi-dimensional, not just one-note evil. So to even get a return to a storyline that arguably made the Platt family as iconic as it was, set the scene for David's development over the next several years, that as well as Sarah's underage teen pregnancy storyline, 3 really integral storylines that made the Platt family who they are and arguably raised their status up dramatically in terms of the show. So once again, you don't know who Richard Hillman is, look him up. It's fantastic stuff. And played by Brian Cabron, who was tremendous. That multi-layered, I'm a nice guy above all this dark, gritty exterior. Played phenomenally. Incredible stuff. In fact, this is making me want to re-watch Richard Hillman. So, fuck me, I guess. I was going to watch Dexter. But But yeah, so I'll get into how they're going to do it. And obviously, Richard Hillman is dead. He is dead. He is dead and buried. He died in the canal. He never went to prison, and he got away with it. So it's never really been a thing that you could do. It's never been a thing you could go for. It's never really been an angle that you could take. But it would be reticent to remember, and especially miserable in this instance, if they were never able to address Gail's past. And if you can't have Martin Fowler, you can't have Martin Platt, you can have Richard Hillman. I'm not sure if this was already planned or originally planned, but it's definitely a way to make this exit more meaningful and this exit much more interesting from the angle. Now, yes, some people may find this like laughable, especially with Coronation Street where it's at currently, which arguably is not in a great place as a whole. This is something that will attract eyeballs to see how will they have Richard Hillman come back. Now, it's not like EastEnders, they're not reviving them from the dead. Richard Hillman will be a ghost. He will be a ghost. I'm sure there'll be a scene with him and Gail, and they'll talk, and, you know, maybe, I don't know, maybe she's dying. Maybe she's having a rough time. I don't think so, not necessarily in these episodes, but maybe she sees Richard Hillman again, and they talk, and it's like, you know, a good callback and a really interesting way to hook viewers in. I will say there is no official confirmation. This is from an insider saying Richard will appear to Gail as a ghost. And I will say, I don't necessarily think that they look. I don't think they will do anything particularly large with this, but I think it'll be a good thing. And this is Caprone saying it was all a bit of luck to be as Richard Hillman, as he got this role in his 50s, so he was able to roll it in and have like a big important piece. But yeah, I mean, fundamentally, it is a truly interesting and very cool thing to do, and it's a good way that in soap you can actually show these sorts of things. I am pretty blessed. We're all pretty blessed that we're going to get to see it, because like I said, Richard Hillman's probably the peak of Gail Platt, let's be honest. It all kind of went downhill from there. And obviously, she had some good years, and she was fantastic, and she's a Coronation Street legend, all that said. But you want to remind people why she was great. And hopefully this ghost appearance is gonna be just that. But obviously time will tell. I mean, Gail, the time is ticking. As we get closer and closer to Christmas, which feels like that is when her destination will end, and that is when she will leave. Will she leave with Jesse in the end? Hard to argue. I don't really think so. It feels like, I don't know, it feels like fool's gold, or it's, oh wow, this is great. It's not. Nobody enjoys it. Nobody likes it. And it is too far gone. You're never going to get Martin Platt in the end to come back and return, because simply that bridge has been burned. So it will be interesting to see what they plan for Richard Hillman's ghostly return. I'm excited for it. Are you excited for it? Tell me in the comment section down below. What do you think? Actually, I suppose the final point just to go through. I feel like some people will be quite upset that we'll be not besmirching the legacy of Richard Hillman, because I doubt it'll change anything. But I can understand why people would be reticent to allow the current writers and producers to put Richard Hillman on screens, potentially damaging the legacy and damaging the character. And alternatively, people don't really like it when you do gimmicky things in soap. Like, a ghost may be interesting. I don't exactly think it'll be like Doctor Who, where Peggy Mitchell tells the ghost of Den Watts to get out of her pub. But I can understand why people would be resistant to this, but you need something special for Gail's exit, for fuck's sake. Like, you need something important. You need something major. And this is exactly that. But yes, I've been Ash from Watching Walford. Just as I thought I was going to get a day to myself, suddenly there's some bloody news. And yes, there's been some EastEnders news, but that should be released tomorrow when we get round to it. But yeah, all right, cool stuff. Great little insight. Exciting stuff for Gail's exit. Maybe it's going to make me a bit more excited to watch at Christmas, which I'll do anyways, but with a packed fucking schedule, you know, it's going to be busy. Like, I'm pretty sure Coronation Street this Christmas intersects with the EastEnders, which doesn't sound great, not going to lie. Not looking forward to having to mismatch them, but there is a big gap in between. Anyway, so yes, thank you for watching the video. Join me in the next one. See you then. Bye-bye.